George Washington was larger than life. He was, the first commander-in-chief, first president of the United States, and that's an extremely important, value set for us to live up to. For me, as a young veteran, I think it's very important that, we continue to live the values that we were taught of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And, once we are handed our DD-214, our service doesn't end there, and that it's incumbent upon us as young veterans, to pass the torch on to, those who are continue to carry the mandate that our founding fathers gave us, that we will uphold this great nation.
Today we are saluting not only one of our nation's greatest presidents, but 250 years of service by the greatest army on the planet. In an address to Congress, our nation's first commander-in-chief, George Washington, stressed the importance of a strong fighting force. He said, quote, "If we desire to avoid insult, we must be able to repel it. If we desire to secure peace, one of the most powerful instruments of our rising prosperity, it must be known that we are at all times ready for war," unquote. It is that readiness which has kept America free for 250 years now. Our nation's largest military branch, the United States Army, first led by perhaps our greatest general, George Washington, has answered our country's call from Bunker Hill to Baghdad. While we recognize the exceptional heroic and pivotal leadership that General Washington provided during the American Revolution, we also appreciate the ramifications of his humble nature. His popularity and success could easily have led this new nation down the road to military dictatorship. George Washington was not Julius Caesar. He was not Napoleon or Santa Anna. There never was an Emperor Washington. Though many leaders would have been tempted to accept the power that Washington could have seized if he had chosen to do so, our first president believed in the freedom and liberty for which his soldiers so bravely fought.
So what can we take from the Army's birth and the example Washington set? First, that setbacks and failures do not define a career. Second, effective leadership is humble, willing to transform, and empowers others to succeed. He had the ability to see that the Army needed transformation and the humility to seek help. Finally, we should remember that service to the nation is broader than what happens on the battlefield. Even as Washington's service began in the Continental Army, his service as civilian president was just as consequential to the course of the nation's history. It is a reminder that while the Army is our first institution, it is just one of the many that we depend on to preserve our values. We must foster a culture of service, military or civilian, in every generation. The next 250 years of our nation's history will rely on Americans who believe in contributing to something greater than themselves.